I adopted a boy in the second year of our marriage due to my husband's erectile dysfunction. When the child was 7 years old, I overheard his friend saying, "Leo is actually your child with Valerie Sinclair? Won't your wife divorce you if she finds out?" Adrian Blackwood sneered. Divorce? She wouldn't dare leave me. It turns out he claimed to have erectile dysfunction and never touched me, just to stay faithful to his true love. Those once sweet memories flashed through my mind, only to be mercilessly torn apart in an instant. Just as I was about to collapse, a large hand caught me. It was Marcus Ryder, Adrian Blackwood's sworn brother. I happened to be standing outside the room where he was resting. I steadied myself, wanting to pull away from him. At that moment, the people downstairs seemed to be coming up, but that burning hand tightened around my waist. In a panic, Marcus Ryder actually pushed open Leo's door and pulled me inside. I gasped in shock. "Marcus Ryder, what are you doing?" Marcus Ryder's long fingers pressed against my lips as he leaned close to my ear and whispered, "Shh, sis-in-law, keep your voice down. Do you want to wake up your husband's love child?" I immediately covered my mouth and looked at Leo sleeping soundly on the bed. I glared at the troublemaker, who was clearly doing this on purpose. "Marcus Ryder, get out." At that moment, footsteps approached in the hallway. Adrian Blackwood walked in, reeking of alcohol. I lay on Leo's bed, pretending to be asleep, but the blanket in my hands was almost torn apart from my grip. I felt his warm breath getting closer and closer. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. Then, I felt a brief warmth on my lips before it quickly moved away. I heard a barely audible sigh. I pinched my thigh, trying to hold back my nausea. He picked up the sleeping Leo and left the room. I vigorously wiped the spot he had touched, only to realize my hair was damp with tears. As if a switch had been flipped, tears began to pour down my face. Through my tear-blurred vision, I remembered the time before marrying Adrian Blackwood. He told me he had erectile dysfunction and asked if I could accept it. I nodded with tears in my eyes, simply because I loved him. I watched him fall in love with Valerie Sinclair, then part ways as they pursued different paths. Their relationship ended completely when Valerie Sinclair went abroad. I accompanied him as he emerged from the depths of heartbreak. Whenever he needed me, I was willing to go through fire and water, overcoming all obstacles to be by his side, giving my true heart in exchange for his. After years together, he finally agreed to marry me. I was overjoyed, so excited that I couldn't sleep all night. As long as it was him, I didn't care about anything else. In the second year of our marriage, I returned home after a month-long business trip. Suddenly I found an extra child in the house and asked Adrian Blackwood whose child it was. Adrian Blackwood lowered his head to explain. I couldn't see his expression clearly at the time. "Zoe Lancaster, this is a child I adopted. I know you've always loved children, but because of my condition, I couldn't let you become a mother. I'm sorry for that. So I decided to adopt one, as a surprise for you. Zoe Lancaster, are you upset with me?" Even now, I still remember the guilty look on his face, as he carefully raised his head and asked if I would blame him. At that time, I was so moved that I threw myself into his arms, my tears soaking his white shirt. I also forgot about that fleeting sense of oddness. I was worried he would feel sad and insecure about not being able to have children. Actually, as long as I could spend my life with him, what did it matter if we never had children? Marcus Ryder had somehow appeared beside me. Seeing my tear-stained face, his eyes instantly turned icy cold. He roughly pulled me to the window and turned my head to look outside. "Zoe Lancaster, guess where he's going so late at night with his love child?" Adrian Black